I mean, it was horrible for her. She couldn't be a TV producer anymore because she couldn't carry heavy equipment. But she did something good, which is she traveled back to Florida so that they could prosecute the perpetrator, which most people didn't want to do. Can't blame them. But, if you're a tourist, you're attacked in Miami, you just want to go home to Minnesota. You don't want to go back to Miami to help with this investigation. But
Sure.
She did, and she got the guy put away for life. And then what she did, which is kind of like what you're doing, is she wanted to help other people. She wanted to use what happened to her for good. And she started a couple of help groups, self-help groups for people who have been the victim of trauma like her.
Testimony continued today in the most notorious criminal trial in Richland County history. Dr. John Boyle is accused of killing his wife Noreen and burying her body in the basement of his new home in Erie, Pennsylvania.
The 12-year-old son finally took the stand.
As I heard a scream, I heard a thud. It was about this loud.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
When I was 12 years old, my testimony sent my father to prison for murdering my mother. This podcast serves as a type of therapy and reconciliation for myself, and it is my hope that it helps anyone who has experienced deception, betrayal, and dark trauma. I'm Collier Landry, and this is Moving Past Murder. Hey movers, welcome back to another episode of Moving Past Murder. I'm your host, Collier Landry, and what's going on? What's going on, people? Happy Friday. God, it's been a strange week. I'm not even kidding. Somebody's telling me it's Mercury retrograde, or maybe we're out of the retrograde. I don't know. I don't know a lot about these things. I just know there's been a lot of tech issues lately. There's been a lot of communication issues. Is that a Mercury retrograde thing? I don't know. Why don't you guys tell me in the comments if I've hit that on the head or not? I am somebody who is, I sort of somewhat follow astrology as far as like my horoscope and things. And I'm a Pisces. So I definitely think that I am very much a Pisces person. I'm a creative professional. It's very much in line with what a Pisces is, I believe. A little emotional. That's why I have the koi fish tattoo. Yeah, woohoo. For those of you watching on YouTube. But yeah, there's been a lot of like weird stuff going on. And I'm not talking about like what's in the world. I'm talking about my own personal little corner, microcosm of the universe. A lot of interesting tech and just weird things happening. But it seems to be subsiding. But it has been a strange week nonetheless. But I'm also a little emotional of a very, very dear friend of mine. Her name is Sharon Rocky Roggio, and we have been working on a film together for the last almost 4 years called 1946. And I am very happy and proud to say that we can officially announce that we are having our world premiere at Doc NYC Film Festival in New York City on November the 12th, 2022. That is in less than a month from today. And I will be there for that premiere. I am so excited. I was the director of photography on the shoot, and I was the post-production supervisor and did some graphics for them. And I kind of just did a lot of stuff on the film. And I've been there since the film's inception. I'm getting a little emotional. I am beyond proud of her. So you can follow her at 1946 the movie on TikTok or on Instagram or on Twitter. And she is just a really wonderful person in my life. The film deals with religion and LGBTQ rights. And I'm not going to get into too much of that. I don't discuss religion or politics on this program. And I know some of my audience, some of you guys are very liberal and some of you guys are very conservative. But no matter what side of the spectrum you sit on and all of these things, it is an amazing feat for someone to create a film about something that they are truly passionate about, that has touched their lives in many ways. And to see that dream come to fruition is a monumental achievement. So as someone who has done that, I am just beaming with absolute pride. Mind the pun. I am beaming with absolute pride for my dear friend Rocky, who has been there through thick and thin with me personally and professionally. We go way back, and she is a wonderful human, and I'm so proud of her and all of the family of 1946 and cast crew. It's an amazing documentary. It's going to be, like I said, it's not for everyone, but it is a monumental achievement on her part, and I'm just beaming with pride. I'm so excited. So anyways, enough of that. Thank you guys for tuning in. I have a great episode today. Another friend of mine has just released a book, and this book is called Forensic Files Now, and it is by a dear friend of the program, Rebecca Reisner. She runs the Forensic Files Now blog that she's been doing for, I think, like maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I had interviewed Rebecca last year because she contacted me about the book, and she's done the blog. She talked to many people in my world that were involved in the case. And look, Forensic Files is one of those shows that did a story on my family's case and on me. And it is I've talked about it several times on the program and talked about it a lot of times with my fellow true crime survivors, advocates. And, it comes up a lot with ethical true crime conversations. So today we're going to discuss a little bit about that. We're going to talk about her book. But I do want to say this. There are many, in my opinion, true crime programs, podcasts, film, television, whatever, what have you, media that do exploit true crime victims, survivors, families, things of that nature. Forensic Files, as we will discuss in this episode, is one of those shows that, while it does deal with horrific crimes, mostly of the murder category, it really does highlight the detective work done around these cases and what these forensic investigators, scientists, detectives have done to solve these cases and to bring justice for the families of the victims. And that is a really cool thing. Also, the program, which I've learned, has really takes a lot of care when they reach out to victims. Look, Forensic Files reached out to me. My episode is, I believe, season 5, episode 13. It's called Foundation of Lies. Again, it's probably one of the top 10 episodes of the show. They've had 400 and some episodes. A lot of people recognize me because I was the kid on the witness stand, obviously. But they reached out to me. I did not participate. They did offer me compensation. It wasn't enough, as I had said at the time, but I'm glad they did reach out to me. And Rebecca reached out to me. She said, "Hey, I'm writing about your mom, and I've talked about this case before." And she wanted to be she was very ethical, in my opinion. And so we became friends, and I wanted to promote her book. It comes out tomorrow, or I'm sorry, tomorrow, because we are on Friday. It comes out tomorrow, October 15th. It is through the imprint Prometheus Books, BarnesandNoble.com, Amazon, wherever you get your books from, you can find it. But first, for those of you that join me on Patreon, and you can check me out, patreon.com/Collier Landry. I do a monthly meet and greet with my VIP members. And this month, we are doing ours on October the 25th. We are doing a costume contest because it's spooky Halloween, right? And of course, we want to have a fun time. So we're going to do a costume contest. There is a prize. If you're not on my Patreon, but you want to join, you want to be there for the meet and greet, meet my wonderful community of movers and shakers, come join us, join the Patreon, patreon.com/Collier Landry. It helps to support this program that you are listening to or watching right now. And if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, please subscribe. Please give us a positive review. I really appreciate it. Enough of the spiel. I want to get to this week's listener question. So this one comes from Star Laska on Instagram, and they say, "Hi, Collier. After listening to your podcast episode made for your beautiful mom's birthday about your dad's manipulation, I had to let you know that you are right about constantly reminding yourself that your dad chose his actions and his consequences, which inadvertently, unfairly chose yours for you. What a selfish, lust-driven monster. He had the choice to divorce beautiful Noreen and allow her, along with yourself and your sister, to blossom out of his evil grasp. Not to mention the constant infidelity he put your family through. Collier, keep reminding yourself of this when feelings of empathy for the devil creep in. You are an amazing person, Collier, and obviously take after gorgeous Noreen in talent and good looks. Sending sunshine and positive energy to you, Star from Australia." Well, thank you, Star. That is really very kind of you to say that. Yeah, I like to think that my father chose his consequences too. But yes, sometimes it is hard for me to I feel like as a trauma survivor or true crime victim survivor, whatever you call it, right? As a survivor in general, I think that you're always going to have these sort of feelings of doubt, guilt, shame. Maybe it's survivor shame. I'm sure that's probably a thing. I should probably know that. I think, yeah, in fact, that is a thing. I think survivor shame is a thing, that they feel that they have survived and the other person was killed. I know a lot of people live in the shadow of guilt, and then also they feel guilty for the actions of the perpetrator too, in this case being my father. I mean, it is a really odd sort of tightrope to walk emotionally, an emotional tightrope, because I do think about a lot of the things about my father. And I guess, I didn't really realize until after I made a murder in Mansfield exactly how far away from my father I was in terms of thoughts, feelings, the way I carry myself, the way, I think I've mentioned several times on this program before that I often wonder, like, oh, could I have perpetrated a crime like that? Because I think that's only natural that you would think that way. I mean, look, we're all sort of, we're all human beings, and we were like, oh, okay, am I capable of such a thing? I'm glad to really understand that I would not be that person, which is a good feeling. But thank you, Star, for your message. I really appreciate it. So, as I said before, my guest today is Rebecca Reisner. She is the author and creator of the Forensic Files Now blog, and now she has written a book of the same name that features some of the similar stories, my story included, but it's some never-before-seen interviews, of course, even with myself. And, I've had Rebecca on the program before, we discussed, but this time I want to talk about, because it's been a while, since I've done the podcast now. This is, I believe, episode 58, 59, something like that. I've learned a lot about true crime doing this. And, from a survivor's perspective, we talk about my dear friend, Tara Newell, and her situation as well. Her and I are doing the Survivor Squad podcast. We wax about a lot of things, all things true crime. So, and her book. So please welcome to the program, again, Rebecca Reisner. So Rebecca Reisner, welcome back to the program. And it's so good to see you again.
Thank you. It's great to see you too.
So Rebecca, the last time we spoke, you had reached out to me because you were doing something called this.
Yes.
The book Forensic Files Now, because you have adapted your blog into a book.
Exactly.
So why don't you, is it out yet, or it's coming out, right? Prometheus.
Yeah, October
correct?
15th. It'll be in bookstores, Amazon, Walmart.com, basically all major bookstores and all major online sellers. Also, Books A Million, it'll be on that too. So it's just coming out, and basically my blog it started out just for people who liked forensic files, which there are plenty of. And because the show is old, all 400 episodes of it were made prior to 2011, but they're shown all over the world, and people are wondering what happened to these cases since the program was produced. So I would research and find out what's happened since then, and also find out new things about the cases that Forensic Files, the TV show, couldn't fit into 22 minutes. And the book, I thought it would be fun, to have it in book form. People could read it at the beach or whatever. And for each story, I got a little something extra that wasn't in the blog. So there's a reason to buy the book, new interviews. I think chapter 27, which I think is a lady named, last name is Boyle, first name is Noreen.
Yes.
There's part of an interview with you that we did that's not on the blog. It's just in the book. And so that's what it is. And there also includes a question and answer, quite in depth, with Paul Dowling, who is the creator of Forensic Files, and a bit about the narrator, Peter Thomas. Peter Thomas was one of the two greatest male voice artists of the post-World War II era.
Era.
Era. Thank you. He is the one. Now, you're probably too young to remember this, but he is the one who did the American Express commercials. What will you do? What will you do?
Oh yeah, I do remember seeing those. I've seen those on replays for sure.
Yeah, he did the Tang commercials. The astronauts took Tang to the moon.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's that's why it's such a great show. It just everything is done right on that show, and so that's my story. And I've really enjoyed meeting you because you understand media, and
Yeah.
it's very easy to talk to you. And you were able to take something horrible and make some good things out of it. And another person I have on the book is Helga Lust. She was a TV producer. She was a victim of the Miami robbery crime wave in the 1990s. Tourists were being routinely kind of shanghaied or robbed, sometimes killed. And she was beaten severely in an attack. But when she was visiting Miami, she was a tourist. She got lost on her way back from the airport. She pulled into an alley, and two violent thugs attacked the car. One of them bit down on her arm so hard that when she finally was able to drive away, he hung on a little bit to her arm. So anyway,
Wow.
And what she did, what good came out of this? I mean, it was horrible for her. She couldn't be a TV producer anymore because she couldn't carry heavy equipment. But she did something good, which is she traveled back to Florida so that they could prosecute the perpetrator, which most people didn't want to do. Can't blame them. But if you're a tourist, you're attacked in Miami, you just want to go home to Minnesota. You don't want to go back to Miami to help with this investigation. But
Sure.
She did, and she got the guy put away for life. And then what she did, which is kind of like what you're doing, is she wanted to help other people. She wanted to use what happened to her for good. And she started a couple of help groups, self-help groups for people who have been the victim of trauma like her. Whatever, it doesn't have to be what happened to her, but, violence and
of course,
these horrible things that unfortunately happen to people. And she also started kind of a movement called Trauma Informed, whereby she helped to inform people how they could help the traumatized, what are the right things to say and do. And, so that's, she's in there, and I have a new interview with her too. And it's great working with her because she also she was a TV producer. She understands media. So she's great to work with.
That's, it's horrible what happened to her. Now, so how many cases are in this book? I know that my mother's case, my family's case is chapter 27.
Yes,
I believe
27. There are 40 chapters with each a self-contained true crime story. And there's enough information there that even if you don't watch Forensic Files, it's the whole story's there. You don't have to unless you want,
Now, right now at this particular moment in time where we're at, right? We've gone through, several movements in the last 5-6 years, right? We've gone through the Me Too movement that kind of rocked Hollywood, right? Is still sort of making its way through. But raised awareness, right? And then we have, obviously Black Lives Matter that kind of carried through the pandemic. But now we're sort of entering this phase. And, the last time I had you on the program, I was talking to you about people's obsession with true crime and how I was trying to really understand that, right? As someone who didn't ask to be part of true crime and this fascination. And of course, I'm really well known as being the kid on the witness stand, in the episode of Forensic Files. Which I believe is called Foundation of Lies.
Yes.
And now we're talking a lot about ethical true crime, treatment of victims, of survivors, of their stories, media exploitation, and all of that. And we have programs like Dateline. We have podcasts that are built essentially on some people's worst day of their lives, right? For me, Forensic Files is obviously, it talks about these cases, right? But for me, a program like this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like, because it's called Forensic Files, it really is about what got the perpetrator caught, the mistakes that were made, the good police work that these forensic scientists, that these detectives did, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And how does that fit with you? Like, how does that sit with you as far as ethical true crime and sharing these stories? Because
yeah, it is. And part of it is, you are writing about things that certain people really don't want you to write. And if people, it's only happened once or twice, but and the couple occasions where people said, could you please take this off your website? I have, because I'm not trying to cause anybody any. The thing is, here's what I think. A crime like murder, or any violent, horrifying crime, it does become kind of part of the public domain. I mean, it's the most horrible thing that can happen, and it's not going to be a private matter. When somebody's broken the law, people are going to, somebody gets murdered or on your block. Oh yes, just give, this is a private matter. How can you not, So I think the important thing when, as far as, not exploiting it, is first of all, giving the person a chance to tell his or her own story, letting that person, if that person doesn't want to talk about it, make it very clear in the narrative that you tell that this person does not, wants to forget about this and move on. And just doing good research. I always make sure I do everything online. Sometimes phone interviews with people, but I always make it clear when there are two sources say different things. I let that be known. It's not clear whether this is that or that, but here it is. And also, I don't really take much or really any creative license with it. So that is that. So yeah, I mean, I think what you're saying is very true. Sure, for many victims of crimes, it would be much better if it was never written about, a book shown on TV, even shown on the news. But it is. It's out there. And, I believe I can tell these stories in a compassionate way, and also in a way that kind of shames the bad guys as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think what you just said hits the nail on the head. Like, there's a lot of talk, obviously, with this Dahmer show that has come out that's directed by Ryan Murphy, or show run by Ryan Murphy, created by Ryan Murphy. I mean, he does everything, right? And the emotional sort of scarring that some of these victims are going through, and obviously, Dahmer, much like my father, is a psychopath.
Wow. And
is a monster, and has destroyed people's lives. He obviously touched more lives than my father did as far as victims, but the damage was pretty severe in both men's wake, right? And I feel like, I think part of the thing that these victims, their families, or the survivors, or where people get angry with this is exactly that. It's the glorification of the perpetrator.
Yeah.
The idolation of the perpetrator. Much like people idolize John Wayne Gacy, Charles Manson. These people who have done horrific things. And I think that is probably the biggest sting. Now, when you approached me and you said, hey, I'm writing this. I do a blog. I've interviewed, I believe you interviewed Dave Messmore years ago, correct?
No, not Dave. No, it was, I don't think I talked to him. I talked to the local newspaper reporter who covered the whole thing.
Charlie Hummel, right?
No, his last name, it might have been Fuddy.
Hudak.
No,
Fuddy, Gerald Fuddy, or Fuddy or something. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I'll look it up. Yeah, maybe John Fuddy.
John Fuddy, yeah, because Gerald Fuddy was Children's Services. For those of you that are from Mansfield, Ohio, they're going, no, it's this. They know better than I do. No, but it's you have really strived to, and like you said, you take down if a victim approaches you and says, hey, I don't want this out there. You respect that, right?
Yeah, I do.
And you try to and you try to really, because you're a journalist by trade, like that is your thing. That's how you came into this. And so you have that journalistic experience, and you understand integrity, and, but you also understand that there's a news aspect to it. And you say it is a public domain story. But again, with these forensic files cases, I feel like, there's this one side where you have the victims don't like to be, or the families don't like to be reminded of this, right? Some people just want to go away. I obviously do not go away. I'm very public, and I don't get offended or butthurt when people do this. I just go, well, why don't you just put my Twitter handle on your on your post or whatever? Why don't you give me a shout out? Why don't you talk to me? Because I'll talk to you. I'm an open book, right? But I feel like other people just want to live a quiet life. How do you think the media needs to sort of straddle that? I mean, because again, true crime is so popular, and it's the hot. I would say it's the hot new thing. But I mean, I remember watching Unsolved Mysteries when I was a kid.
Oh, that was
right.
Yeah.
And that was a ridiculously popular show, and much like Forensic Files. And you had this fascination. How do you think that creators in that space, what they can really do to sort of straddle that fine line between exploitation and artistic liberty, if you will?
Right. Well, one thing that I really hate that some of the network true crime shows do is they try to get people to cry on camera. They do that, they kind of poke at them with questions they know the person doesn't really want to answer. Even if the person sometimes says, I don't want to answer, they kind of poke at that. So that's the kind of thing you don't want to do. Obviously, with crime scene pictures, you want to be very sensitive as to, if you have access to these things, you need to ask the victims, how upsetting is it that we're going to show these. And what Forensic Files did in another show that I recently saw, I can't remember the name of the series, but they send in shows in which victims cooperate or are seen on camera, they make another version of it without the crime scene photos, without the autopsy photos or the deceased person, and they take all those out. So that way the person can watch it and see the story, but they don't have to confront these horrible photographs.
I did not know that. That's very thoughtful.
Yeah. They do that. And
so that was sort of one of their practices.
Yeah, they always did that all along. And now the other thing they did that was great, although this is really actually often a little tangential, but Forensic Files always wanted to make sure that no crime of negligence took place because of the production of the show. Paul Dowling never gave anybody a budget for recreations. He said, just spend as much as you need to show these recreations, which are very tastefully done on the show. It's not like one of those wives with knives or something. And he said he never wanted somebody to get hurt because, there wasn't enough money to have whatever you have on a TV. You would probably be able to tell me more,
Sure, of course.
Whatever you need to the set to be or to have on set to make sure that no one gets hurt. And
stunt coordinator, for example.
Yes. Exactly like that. So, they did 400 episodes. All 400 had some portions, being recreation, and no one ever got hurt. So.
And in all fairness, Forensic Files, their producers did reach out to me and want me to be on the show. And they were going to pay me. I didn't think it was enough. And we just sort of agreed to disagree. Right. And so I said, I'm just not going to participate. And, that's fine. I'd never wished them any ill will or anything.
Oh, you never told me that.
Yeah, they did. And they were going to, and I said, but I'm glad that I did that because as someone who is a victim survivor turned creator, I've always been able to control my own narrative.
Oh.
And I think between the last time that we spoke on this program and now is, you mentioned Tara Newell earlier, who I'm doing the new podcast we're doing together called Survivor Squad, right? Where we interview survivors in their own words. And you said that earlier, you want people to share their story in their own words if they talk to you.
Yes.
What happened? And you've published me in this book. You have quoted me accurately and appropriately, and you were very thoughtful with that. Even saying, "Hey, this is what I'm writing. Are you okay with this?" Great. I want to run some things by you. Is that okay? Great. And still keeping your creative liberty, of course, or your style. But you did ask me, in all fairness. But I have seen so much of where these survivors do get their story just becomes controlled by podcasts, media, film and television, all of this stuff without their either approval, their awareness, or their authorization.
Yeah.
and that is a really difficult line to straddle. And I started to say, like, what is this? But I realized how grateful I was to the show for reaching out to me, even though I didn't go on it because I was like, well, it's not enough money, whatever it was. I'm glad because I was able to control my own narrative. They told the story, but they didn't use me to tell that. They obviously used me on the witness stand as a child and things like that, but they don't. And it's a unique position where I've been in, which I didn't realize until recently, like how unique of a position that is.
Yeah, it is rare. And may I ask, how did you feel about the footage? They took the file footage of you testifying. How did you feel about that when you saw the show?
Well, I think we talked about this before, or I think I told you when you had interviewed me before, but I only saw the images of the crime scene it was on a website, and I could see it from the other side of the room because I was dating someone who then she was telling her gay best friend about me, and he typed in the name and then he found the pictures. He pulled up a website and she was like, "Don't show him that," because Forensic Files had come out like that year. But I didn't actually see the episode until I was on a date with a girl, and we were sitting on her couch, post coitus, if you will, and she was flipping through the channel, and there was this face of this kid on the television. I was like, oh, and then she's flipping through, and then she looks over at me, and then she flips it back. There's me on the witness stand. I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's me.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, I told you. So that was awkward, but I never actually watched the full episode until I would say probably after I made a Murder in Mansfield. So I would say like 2018, 2019. Right. I think was the first time I saw it. And obviously, yeah, there's a lot of there's some gruesome footage there. It does affect me for sure. I mean, but also the as someone who led the police to catch my father, right, for murdering my mother, I also can look back at that program and see the way that they are honoring the crime lab, the forensic scientists, the detectives, right, and for their work. And I'm really grateful for that. Because if those people hadn't done their jobs post finding my mother, my father, his conviction may not have been secured, if you will, or his fate might not have been sealed, right? Because it is the diligent work that those guys did that really helped.
It is,
and
yes, and a lot of times the law officers and lawyers who worked on, maybe the lawyers know, but the police, the detectives who worked on it, some of them they're just so modest. Sure, there are a few that enjoy hearing themselves talk, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. But a lot of them I speak to later who have appeared on camera on Forensic Files, they say, "No, never watched it," and they say that they're just one of a part of a team that was able to solve this crime and hold someone responsible. and they don't want to call attention to themselves. And, you know, and the ones who are still on the job, likewise, they really, they don't want to make it to seem like the investigation was all about them. It was all about a lot of people working hard, and they didn't do it. And, you know, some of them, they let me interview them, I don't want to say reluctantly, but they're not thrilled about it. You know, like, oh, okay, we'll help this person out. And sometimes I'll say, okay, do you want me to send you the link to the blog post? It's okay. So,
yeah.
You know, that's many of them, they're faithful public servants who just want to get these people off the streets. And
yeah, of course. You know, I think last time we talked about, you know, obviously, you know, it was interesting because I went to CrimeCon this year for the first time, which was a very interesting experience. And
oh, wow.
You know, I made little flyers with my photo of me on the witness stand.
Oh, that's great. And
passed them out, you know, just to kind of promote the podcast. But it is so that people look at the picture and they're like, I know this kid. I don't know you, but I know this kid. And it's from that Forensic Files episode.
Oh, yeah.
Because of that. And I think, you know, one of the things when you approached me, you said that, and I think we discussed last time, was the thing that you felt, which was what really connected with the audience on my episode, was the fact that a kid was involved. A child was testifying against a parent.
Right, a child testifying, and they want to know what happened to that child. You know, they get involved in the story, and you know, and it's not in any kind of morbid way. It's just human drama, high human drama, and yeah, they want to.
And I think for me, that is one of the things that I've really, you know, look, you know, even Tara, she gets a lot of shit, to be blunt about it, for what happened.
Yeah, and it's really for defending herself.
Yeah, for defending herself. And I'm looking at this going, you know, this is horrible what people say sometimes. And it's like, what did you expect her to do? Lie down and get murdered? And then this guy goes and murders her whole family?
Yeah, oh gosh. He was a horrible man who...
horrible, psychopath.
Yeah,
and I believe...
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, he's a horrible man. I spoke, actually, I had a phone interview with her mother, Deborah Newell. I love everything Dirty John, the podcast, the Netflix series. Was it Netflix? Hang on.
Well, Netflix has it now, but it was on originally on Bravo. USA.
Yeah. Yeah. I just find con men just fascinate me. But no, I forget what I was going to say. Wait, Deborah Newell said that she thought that this attack on her daughter Tara was going to be a kidnapping. That John Meehan was going to kidnap Tara and try to get Deborah to do something over it. I don't know what it was. I was just curious. Is that your understanding of what happened, or?
That is most certainly not my understanding of what happened.
Okay.
But I wasn't there. But I don't know, because according to Tara, the knife was in a Del Taco bag, and he started punching her with the Del Taco bag, and the knife was hidden inside that bag. And then when the investigators, you know, obviously came to the scene, apparently his trunk was full of knives. So I don't know what part of it. Maybe it was a kidnapping, torture, kill thing. I don't know, but I would say that if I was to shake the magic 8 ball, it would say all signs point towards no.
Murder. Okay.
I would say that he was coming to kill her, and he was probably going to take out the whole family, because I believe he wrote even in a diary. So that would be interesting that Deborah would say that. But again, I don't know the family dynamic. I don't know anything about that situation. I wasn't there, but I do know what Tara has told me, and it is not that. I don't think she thought he was just going to kidnap her. He started punching her with a bag over his knife wielding hand. So yeah, there was no kidnap attempt. And she's a little thing, by the way. She's not, this guy's, my size, 6'2",
Right.
200 some pounds. I mean, he was obviously a little bit more emaciated because he was in the throes of drug addiction and heavy drug usage, but, still a very, twice the size of her easily.
Yeah, I've heard that she's very tiny in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, her story is just, again, her story is so amazing because it's what happens in the movies all the time and police shows. The victim gets the small female victim gets the big man's knife away from him. But it almost never happens in real life. And here it really happened. She got the knife and she defended herself with it.
It's nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's like one in like 10,000 chance that happened.
Yeah, what are the odds? I mean, that's what makes her so unique, and the fact that she could even be coherent and not like, a lot of people would freeze up in that situation or play dead. I mean, I think some people even say to her, why didn't you just play dead? What? But to her, but I think that some people would do that. And, I think that she realized that wasn't going to cut it. That she had to defend herself and I applaud her for that because
that's good for her.
And it's something, it's not like she's proud of that, and that's, when we discuss again, these comments that, come on TikTok or Instagram or wherever, mostly TikTok, but, people just weigh in. It's very, I think this, taking back to the sort of the ethical true crime conversation, I think it's one of the things is when these programs get made or these shows come out, and then even the person who is the victim or the survivor is speaking out, the public or the consumer with their opinions it's very easy to hide behind a wall of social media and these power social relationships and excoriate the victims or the survivors. And that, I think, is probably the most vicious thing is because, a lot of these people, they want to go away. Then there is a case that comes to prominence. And then it's like, you're just, a few keystrokes away while you're watching television. Oh, what happened to Collier Boyle? Okay. Collier Landry. Okay, Mansfield, Ohio. Oh, wow, he's got a Facebook page. Oh, he's got an Instagram. Oh, he's a filmmaker. Oh, look at this. He's got a YouTube thing. And then they can contact me because they do. I mean, it happens every day. People contact me.
Oh, that's great.
Every single day I will get a message from it's not even a message. It's multiple messages. And it's either they see the documentary, they see Forensic Files, and I'll actually go on because on YouTube that people will, they'll rip the Forensic Files episode. They'll bootleg it and then they'll put it on their own channel and then they'll get like 300,000 or 400,000 views and people will be like, well, I wonder what happened to this kid with it. And so sometimes I'll go on there, I'll be like, yeah, I wonder what happened to that kid too.
Yeah. Yeah, actually.
It takes a while, but some people respond, they go, oh my God, you're the kid. Okay, I think there are definitely genuine people. There are a lot of people that try to shit on the victims or say, oh, they stuck around. One of the things I get a lot of, or have heard a lot of, is that people will say, well, your mom stuck around for the money. And I'm like, no, my father's a doctor, but my father just started making money a few years prior to the murder. And my mother stuck around because she loved him, and he had been a womanizer for 20 years, and they had a child together, and she also put him through medical school. So, yeah, she stuck around because it was a team. And right. She's like, you know what I mean? It's not because she's out there tripping the life fantastic. It's, but it's interesting. Again, it's that these parasocial relationships allow people to hide behind this veil, this cloak, and just be like, just jab, 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 jab.
Oh, I know. And this is the victim shaming. I don't know what you would do if you're in a situation. I mean, relationships are very complicated, and it's not that easy. Oh, this guy's a jerk. Why don't you leave? There's a big picture there, and
there's a really big picture. Sure, coercive control is such a weird thing. Tara helped get a law passed in California for coercive control, recognizing that as something that exists, where they can cite case law and say, oh, this has happened. This person was under coercive control, because it's a very real thing. I mean, look at cults, right?
Oh yeah, right.
I mean, look at the Nexium cult with what's his name, Rainier.
Oh yeah.
Mark Rainier, I think. You look at these situations, and people come under the spell of the voodoo doctor, the witch doctor. I mean, it's insane. I feel like we got off topic a little bit, but
I know.
I started mentioning voodoo witch doctors, but it's all the same thing. But I think the thing that tell us about some of your favorite cases in this book. And I'm gonna do another shameless plug. The book is called Forensic Files Now by Rebecca Reisner. It is out tomorrow, October 15th, on Prometheus Books, and you can get it where else?
Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble, Walmart.com, Target.com.
Everywhere you can get books. Is there an Audible version as well? Because I read, but I prefer the Audible.
Yeah, there is, yeah. There.
Fantastic. And who reads that?
Oh, who's the reader?
Yeah.
Oh,
who's the reader? Is it you?
Oh, I don't know who it is.
Well, you're going to have to find that out.
Yeah, I want to find out. One of my best listeners is blind, and I want to get that to him. So
tell me about one of your, obviously I'm your favorite case, but your second favorite case in the book that touched you.
Sure. Mark Winger. He is this nice Jewish boy. My mother wishes would have I say if I brought him home, my mother would have died of ecstasy. He's like an engineer, and has this happy marriage with this woman, Donna, and nice guy. The in-laws loved him, and he came up with the most diabolical plot ever that's shown on Forensic Files, which is he killed his wife and he killed another guy, a guy, and made it look like the guy had been killing his wife, and he shot the guy, made it look like he's a hero. And he what did he do? He got some money for this. I forget why, like a victim's fund and maybe some life insurance on his wife. Went along and he hired a nanny. They had just adopted a baby before he killed the wife. I guess he wanted to keep the baby all to himself and marry a girlfriend. And then he hired a nanny. So of course he impregnated the nanny. They ended up getting married. Wait, I'm getting off. Okay, I'm getting off. But what I thought was so interesting about that particular case is it just shows you everything is a house of cards. I mean, these were this couple. They had, who, they were each loved by their parents and in-laws. They were adopting a baby, very respectable. She had a job in medicine. I forget what she did. He's an engineer. And meanwhile, it was all, all along he was planning to kill her. And well, not all along, but later. And, gone, house of cards, gone. And just that, you never know what's going on beneath the surface of what you see. And that's another thing that was interesting there. And the other thing that really fascinates me about that case is that so many people, they get away with murder once and they keep pushing their luck. Like, here's this guy, he got away with murder. He got the sympathy of the community. Oh, this poor man, his wife's been murdered and he was forced to kill this other man who was attacking his wife. Got some insurance, got the nanny, got everything. And then he decides, he tried to sue the shuttle company for whom this poor dead man, his name was Roger Harrington, worked. And he's wanted to sue this shuttle company because the driver came into his house and killed his wife. When he invited this shuttle driver over to their house to work things out, and really the whole time he planned to kill him and make it look like he killed his wife. Is that at all is that all understandable? It's really complicated.
I think so. I think what you're getting at is that he pushed his luck and he wanted to commit another murder.
Yep.
And then where he got, I think that one of the things that When I think about the allure of true crime is the fascination with the predictability of stupidity.
Yes.
Or the predictability of hubris, really,
Yes.
in my father's case. I recently learned, I interviewed the judge from my father's trial. The judge said to me that my father rented a cold storage unit and put down his ID so he could store my mother's body in a cold storage while he was digging her grave underneath the house. Or in the basement floor. I mean, it's just, and these are things that I didn't know. They were in the trial, obviously, but I haven't watched the trial. I haven't really read the trial. I haven't, I'm now fascinated to get the trial transcripts. But, again, you're putting your ID down. You've rented a jackhammer, first of all. Like that was the first thing. But then you put your ID down and you do these things. And again, I mean, thank God that they do this, because maybe they wouldn't have stopped. Like, I am very convinced that my father would have done it again. Oh. And he might have killed his girlfriend who he impregnated, eventually, if she got in the way of something, or maybe she found something out, or, I think to someone who is a psychopath, just like a Jeffrey Dahmer, people are expendable.
I guess
anything that gets in their way is expendable. Any creature, living, breathing creature that is in their way is expendable. And it's terrifying, but I think that, you can find a little bit of solace in the fact that these people do make mistakes. They do tip their hand, and they ultimately get caught, or else we wouldn't be hearing about it if they didn't get caught.
Yeah, exactly. He was this guy. He was greedy. He thought he could sue this shuttle company for millions. And as you know, companies don't love to be sued, so sometimes they hire private investigators. And then it was figured out. The whole thing was figured out that, what happened, and so now he's in prison. While he was in prison, he devised an even more diabolical scheme for getting out and killing a bunch of people. The fellow prisoner spilled the beans to the authorities, and now he's got like life plus 35 years. He's never getting out.
Yeah, he's never getting out.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, but, again, Forensic Files is about the good investigation and the detective work that goes into solving these cases and taking these horrible human beings off the streets and putting them where they belong, which is behind bars.
Yes.
And that's a good thing. So the book is Forensic Files Now, named after the extremely popular blog. My guest today is Rebecca Reisner, the creator and founder of Forensic Files Now blog, and now the author of the official book, Forensic Files Now, which yours truly is in chapter 27.
Chapter 27.
This book is available everywhere you purchase books from: Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. Comes out tomorrow, October 15th, 2022. Check it out, guys. Rebecca, thank you so much for coming on the program. Where can our listeners find you?
Oh gosh, forensicfilesnow.com. That's my blog. That's where I am. Contact me through there. Thank you so much for having me. I love working with you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I do.
Thank you so much. Rebecca, you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being on the program.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, that was an interesting conversation with Rebecca. Look, as I said at the top of the program, I really do appreciate Rebecca reaching out to me when she wanted to do a story on the blog about me and the case and my mother, and just wanting to hear my thoughts and opinions on it. I also, did not know that the creators of Forensic Files, that they took such care to, not have certain scenes in episodes that victims were a part of, and not show, obviously photographs of the crime scene of their loved one's body and things of that nature. So there is thought that goes into some of this true crime content creation. And again, as she talks about, even with the reenactments, making sure that they had the proper funding to do the right thing with the actors and the talent and make sure they had stunt coordinators and things like that, that the scenes were shot properly. They weren't being penurious or penny pinching. And that goes a long way to show that they are actually really concerned about not only the cases that they handle, but also the way that they treat their staff, their employees, the talent that work with them. That is a good sign. I mean, look, I've worked in Hollywood for over 10 years. And it is, sometimes it's not always the best working conditions. So to know that they've gone out of their way to do that, that sits well with me, to be honest with you. I might not agree with all the material, but I do like that they've tried to take care of their team to create the content that they have and the program that they have. And again, Forensic Files, I don't know where you stand on it, but the work that they showcase, at least with my mother's case, with David Messmore, Tony Tambasco, and the crime lab of the Mansfield Police Department, and the work that they did in bringing justice for my mother was extraordinary, and I am really, really grateful for that. So I do like what this program highlights a lot of times with the investigative side of it, and helping to keep perpetrators off the street, because that's ultimately the goal of raising awareness and discussing true crime, is so you don't have to be a victim or a survivor like myself. That is the whole point of all of this. So, yeah. Anyways, on that note, I'm Collier Landry, and this is Moving Past Murder. Thanks, y'all. This podcast is made possible by support from listeners just like you. Please subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible. Find us on YouTube, youtube.com/Collier Landry. The film A Murder in Mansfield is available on Investigation Discovery, Discovery Plus, and Amazon Prime Video. This podcast is a production of Don't Touch My Radio in association with RSA Entertainment. Please visit mpmpodcast.com to show your support today.